2009 Chaos Edition. There's Blind and we're playing another Blood Bowl game. This time we're playing the third expansion pack to the 2009 Blood Bowl, or as Blood Bowl 2 calls it, Blood Bowl 1. Now, there was another Blood Bowl that came out in the mid-90s for Windows DOS, and it was also named Blood Bowl, but it has no relation to the series. In fact, this Blood Bowl is actually made by Cyanide, which made a game before it called trying to find it. Called Chaos League, and that was in 2004. And when they made that game, Games Workshop, the makers of Warhammer and a bunch of other things, more particularly in this case Blood Bowl, looked at it and said, that looks a lot like our franchise Blood Bowl. That's not right, so we're going to sue for it, but they said court. So instead of instead of stopping Cyanide from making any more games like Chaos League, like too many developers do, they decided to take another route, and instead of getting rid of them or buying them out, or preventing them from making games like their games, they decided, you know what? Why don't you make us an official Blood Bowl game? Which, by the way, Blood Bowl is a board game, as I call it. Most people call it a tabletop game, but I call it board game because you need a board for it. It came out in 1986 and is basically an American football parody with fantasy races taking place in the spin-off universe of Warhammer, which is the main franchise of Games Workshop, which is a British company, by the way. So yeah. But until recently, when the 5th edition came out in later 2016, Blood Bowl kind of stopped in the early 90s, early 2000s. In like 2001, they stopped with the 4th edition, and then they had you can still buy the not minifigures, we're not talking about Lego here. You can still buy the figures, but you can't buy the rule books. The rule books you have to find on their website, called the Living Edition, which is what Blood Bowl Chaos Edition is actually based off of. Actually, the original Blood Bowl 2009 is based off that. The two expansion packs, Chaos Edition and Legendary Edition, are actually based off a different rule set, more modern rules. And Blood Bowl 2 is also based off a different rule set. Which, by the way, if you would like to listen to me explain Blood Bowl in more detail, I will link a description to my first Blood Bowl 2 video where I explain in more detail. Because Blood Bowl, the thing about Blood Bowl, which, by the way, actually that's a good segue. The thing about Blood Bowl is, it doesn't tell you much. It expects you to know the game already. It doesn't have a manual, didn't look at it, by the way. But basically, they expect you to know the game already, and the game doesn't really help you understanding how the dice work. Because Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, or Blood Bowl 2009, is a board game adaptation. Now, what separates Blood Bowl 2009 from Blood Bowl 2 is the simple fact that Blood Bowl 2 is extremely faithful to the board game. Blood Bowl 2009 takes more liberties in how it works, and again, they didn't really explain the game very well. But anyway, so yeah, now Blood Bowl 2009 obviously came out in 2009. Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, which I got the Steam version of, which is the only real way to get Blood Bowl, is either get the Chaos Edition, the 3rd expansion pack, which came out in, actually I can just look at the Steam page, which came out in October of 2012. It came out with 23th level races, that is 11 more than the last release, which was the Legendary Edition, which came out in 2010. And then there was the expansion pack before that, which came out the same year of Blood Bowl 2009. Which, by the way, Blood Bowl, which, by the way, Blood Bowl also released on Xbox 360 in 2010 and on iPhone 2014 and PSP or PlayStation Portable 2010, which is odd. And it only was available in retail in France, Spain, Germany, and Australia. Oddly enough. The oddly enough thing is Australia, because you know Australia and violence. But Blood Bowl, by the way, is an even more violent version of American football. I mean, the games themselves are not too violent. The board game description, the rules, the board game description of the events of getting wounded is not too violent either. But, you know, Blood Bowl is based off Warhammer. Warhammer Fantasy is, which probably is based off Warhammer Fantasy and not 40k. Which Warhammer Fantasy is Grimdark, which Warhammer Fantasy is not Grimdark. That is Warhammer 40k's job. Fallout. But anyway, so yeah. Alright, by the way, so yeah, if you want me to explain the rules of Blood Bowl, which I do suggest you might want to do if you get confused during this video, because, like I said, Blood Bowl Chaos Edition doesn't explain much, that is why, people, Blood Bowl, both Blood Bowl 2 and Blood Bowl Chaos Edition are interesting in how people like it. When Blood Bowl 2 came out, people liked Blood Bowl Chaos. There were people that liked Blood Bowl Chaos Edition more. But then there were people who liked Blood Bowl 2 more, because Blood Bowl 2 more was more obvious in being a board game. It explained more about everything. It was more faithful to the board game. Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, or Blood Bowl 2015, or 2015, or 2009, didn't really do any of that. However, people still like Blood Bowl Chaos Edition for this reason. Well, not particularly her, but yes, her actually, because Dan was on team. But Blood Bowl Chaos Edition has 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's not dwarf. That's a dwarf. 3, 4. Which, by the way, this was the race. They came out with the first expansion pack. Dwarf. You're a Slayer, but close enough. But only 23 races, as you can see. So yeah. Whereas Blood Bowl 2 came out with 6, the base races for Blood Bowl, and the rest of the races are all DLC. $7 DLC, by the way. So yeah, that's why people don't like, and also the reason why people like Blood Bowl Chaos Edition is, and the reason why I kind of like it a little bit better, oddly enough, is this. Go to Expedition Match, or Skirmish, and click on this, Blitz. It has a real-time mode. Blood Bowl 2 does not. So yeah. But other than sheer amount of teams, other than real time, other than a little bit more single player aspect, although it's not nearly as much as people make it out to be, because Blood Bowl 2 has single player stuff too, but it's more reminiscent of the board game, not necessarily is having fun. It's because, again, it can be hard to tell if you don't know the rules of Blood Bowl at all, or very well at the very least, or at the very most. You all have no idea what's going on. I haven't played this game in turn-based yet. I have played it a bit in real time, as you can see up there. And real time is fun, but you have no idea. But if you don't know the board game, or if you don't know Blood Bowl 2, or if you don't know the turn-based, well, if you don't know the rules of the game, you have no idea what's going on. It doesn't tell you anything. So yeah. Anyway, so alright, so let's actually get to some action. Now let me look over the modes first. The tutorial, which I didn't. Short introduction to basic rules for new players. I don't know. I watched 2 leagues of the Blood Bowl board game, the new one and the old one, 5th edition and older. I watched a series of Blood Bowl 2 campaign by someone who knows what he was doing, and I played Blood Bowl Chaos Edition a lot already, and I'm actually pretty good at it. despite not knowing the game very well, which that's just how I roll. But yeah, there's also campaign, which a campaign is basically a little bit like Lego Soccer Mania, actually, where basically you go up, you go from small fry teams to big fry teams. Competition. I guess it's normal league mode, and story mode is basically fighting all the legendary teams. I'm pretty sure the legendary lore as well as just in the game. I'm not quite sure though. But anyway, so let's go back here. Yeah, yeah, pretty much as you can see, there's 32 teams, and that's a lot of variety because each individual team in Blood Bowl plays completely different from each other. Although there's some ones that they just lead up for the game, like you guys. I mean, they're in Warhammer Fantasy, but not on Blood Bowl normally. Wait, what's the difference between high elves and elves? Get confused. I actually didn't see them before. I mean, in Warhammer Fantasy, elves consider them all. Elves consider themselves to be the same. It's everyone else that considers them different. So yeah, that's weird. Calmering, which you don't see ever, very much. Basically, they're the Egyptians. We got. Basically, had a really bad emperor who decided to overrun their lands with undead skeletons, and all the mummies that you know in Egypt all come back to life. So yeah. And these are dudes, which is our DLC in Blood Bowl 2. And we got some interesting factions which you don't see ever in Warhammer Fantasy at all. Halflings, which are the Warhammer Fantasy version of puppets. That means they eat a lot. That means they kind of eat a lot and they're kind of short. Also, they're friends with the humans. The Grammatic, I still don't understand who these guys are. I'm assuming they're. I assume the Grammatic, which these guys are also DLC in Blood Bowl 2, but I'm pretty sure these guys are not Tomb Kings, but vampire accounts. Ogres, which aren't in Blood Bowl 2 at all. Which ogres normally in Blood Bowl are with the humans as backup. Orks, which are on the cover, which we'll be playing against today. As well as, like, the matches take like 10 minutes, so we're going to be playing against a lot of people. Oh, vampires have their own team, okay. But yeah, that's just a small sampling of the team. Now, if you will make your own team, you can't just. Now, this isn't here. Now, when you first group up the game, this is all grayed out. In order to unlock this, what you have to do is go to single player, and then begin a campaign. Pick your mode, and then your campaign name. Demo for gameplay video. Switch over to real time, and then go here. Make your team. Humans. And then you see order. Then you pick your logo. If you watch my Blood Bowl 2 video, which I suggest you might want to do to understand the game better. I have powder. My team's name is Powder Arms. We won't actually name him here, but we'll demo. This is what I use for my team, but here's all the team logos, which are okay. I mean, not. I like some of them, but a lot of them are kind of. I think you change your team colors, which is actually pretty nice. That on the character it doesn't look really navy blue to me. It looks more black. It's a blacker navy blue. I prefer the bluer navy blue. Thank you very much. Or I like a middle navy blue, but you got ton of different colors, which is nice. Which you don't really have in Blood Bowl 2, actually, now that I think about it. You don't have a color picker, you just have a uniform picker. It's fine. Begin the campaign. And I can quit, and you want to save, you want to export your team first. And then you want to save and quit. And you can load up your game from here. Right there. Well, let's do the competition real quick. How'd that work? Blitz. Base. Choose rules for your competition, which you can mess with these rules in a different way, or which you can mess with these rules and not there. Competition, increase competition. But yeah, okay. We'll look at if you guys, if you want to see me, if you want me to see me do a series on the campaign or competition, please let me know. You can definitely do it as around P1D series. Which, by the way, this game is a bit weird. I had to turn off cinematics in order to get the game to like DX story. Because what would happen is when I would have DX story on with enable cinematics, it'll get rid of all the options and bring up an ad for level 2. Which is weird. I'm not quite sure why that does that. Are these low? No, those are high. Good, they understand off the computer. So yeah, I don't have the cinematics on. I wonder what happened once we go in game. I'm just going to see what happens right now, but when which by the way you can go here and then team editor, which by the way when we get in game I'll see. But here's my team. I haven't edited them at all. Wait, no demo. That makes sense as to why that was green. Yeah, it's all by teams. Which by the way my model. Whoa, go back. Which by the way my team name is Duracell Power Arms. My capital and what I just call my cities. Powder Arms for the fact that I like guns. Castle or Rook because I like castles. And that wasn't. And it was not the. And it was. I wouldn't mind it in as a team emblem. Team roster right there. Now I'm not quite sure what do I want in Blood Bowl. These players. As you can see, this menu is less than helpful in trying to understand what's going on. So by the way, this means movement. This means ability to punch through stuff. This means ability to dodge. This means ability to withstand hits. As in not to get killed or injured, you'll need to dodge. Strength is to injure somebody. Because any player can knock down any player. Not every player can, or knock down a player, stun a player, put them on their back. Not a lot of players can actually turn them over and knock them out for a turn, or or put them on the bench, or worse, injure them or kill them. But well, I'll figure out my roster after this video because I'm gonna play the Reavers first. No, I'm not going to. Yes, it's free this game, please. And put your team. We'll keep you here for right now. All right, so let's play a quick match because I want to play a match. Which I might have to turn on cinematics if full screen doesn't work the way it works the way I think it does. You know what, I just want to see what Classic does for the sake of comparison's sake. Okay, we're going to be playing as the Reavers, which are the which is the human great team, and also the star team of Blood Bowl 2. That's what they look like in 3D. Come on. Must have a full screen, the game is a little slow. Alright, so we reckon Reavers. I mean, what other human teams do we got? Nah. Oh, we don't have my team though. Although I didn't edit them. Now you see this team value right here? That's very important. That tells you how good your team is in terms of money. How many people do you have and how good they are? And how much money do you have? By the way, thrower is good at throwing the ball. Catcher is basically in order to throw the ball, in order to pass, you need to roll the dice. And if your guy's a thrower, he's better at passing and rolling dice better. If your guy's a catcher, he's better at rolling the dice to catch it. Blitzer are stronger. I'm still not sure what blitzers do other than they have to declare a blitz in order to attack a guy, and they can actually what they can do is they're better at declaring blitzes, which allows them to move and attack. Linemen are your average guys. Ogre is an ogre. It's a big guy who's good at soaking up damage, and knocking people down, catcher in. So yeah. Alright, so we got the Reavers. Reavers. We are on the wrong team. We're always on team. Onside. Oh, see, they put the human up top there, but not anywhere else. I'm pretty and actually, I know you can do this. You can fight the same team. You can do the same in Blood Bowl too if you're interested. Alright, what we're doing against we're going to go against Orks because that's the classic combination of Blood Bowl versus who are the worst Orks? The Gouged Eye. Raiders. Yes, these are classic opponents. Just read the description of both teams since when we're about to show what there are before we go. Team history. Reikland Reavers, known during their first few years as the Aldorf Acolytes, this team quickly established a reputation for great skill and agility as their original owner D.D. Griswold Stir poached and poached. Yeah, that's supposed to be it. Poached, isn't it? Poached and bought the best players throughout the Western lands. The policy of marrying awesome buying power with the best money can buy has seen the Reavers stayed in the centuries since the team was first created. Today, the Reavers are probably the finest all-around team in the known world. Yeah, they're that good. Unfortunately, there is a space between Blood Bowl 1 and Blood Bowl 2, so the Reikland Reavers didn't have any players to play them for like 20 years, and they went to decline in the time of Blood Bowl 2. Now, Gouged Eye, or Nemesis. Gouged Eye, perpetually struggling with the Reikland Reavers for title of the best team in the world, the Gouged Eye master pretty much all the game's attributes. They have unleashed themselves onto open tournament scene with hard tackling, grinding drives, and desire to show the rest of the world that I is back. That's how I do orc accents. Which, by the way, Warhammer Fantasy takes place in a blanking on the term again. Not revolution, but a pre-Renaissance society in an alternate Earth where basically Europe and Asia are divided. Eurasia is divided with a big mountain range that blocks pretty much. It's hard to travel through. Not impossible, but hard. And also there is Atlantis there in the middle of the northern Atlantic. Big continent just sits there. That's where the elves are from. And also in the Americas, which are Americas in the Warhammer universe. It's not Skyrim, or it's not Elder Scrolls. Although Elder Scrolls, you do have America somewhere, kinda, but not really. I don't think. And then but yeah, there's Americas, but there's no Florida. Florida doesn't exist, which makes me sad. But anyway, so alright, we're going to do medium. We're going to do our stadium. Let's choose a couple stadiums. Man, let's launch game. Let's see what the normal game is like. Alright, so you can transfer money into petty cash. I'm going to need 35. I'm going to need. Whoa, that's not 5. I'm going to need 350,000 monies to get a star player. Star players. This screen basically allows you to pay money to be a little bit better, get more dice, get a special character, stuff like that, which I need. Or I don't need, but it'd be nice to have. Rift Oswald. star player for the humans. Oh, I did that wrong. Yeah, let's try again. Just following pay cash. I'm pretty sure if you don't. Oh wait, 9 enough zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be better. In math. Okay. Not the Orks. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is you have to keep switching your team back and forth. It doesn't save. Okay, just simply switch to the other side of the field, but no. Okay, let's try this again. That's better. See Griff on the field? Bumper. Alright, now let's hopefully they get. We can turn off and on star players and stuff like that, which we can do on the previous screen. Oh, they had a Ripper. They hired a wizard? Orcs having a wizard, okay. You got extra reroll, which you'll be needing in turn-based. In real time, no, you don't. You're not going to be needing rerolls at all because it doesn't work. Okay, so this mag is working. Well, hi. Which, by the way, man.
Return your swords to their sheaths, dispel your magic spells, unstring your bows. There's far more important business.
Blood Bowl!
Yes! And our welcome goes out to all of you.
Bird or dude?
Your
Bird or
servants
dude?
are here to bring you the match, live from the ground. When you look at the difference between the sides, you have to wonder how many players will finish this match.
They should all finish it, but in what state? That's the point.
Okay, I
What
picked
a
Bird.
nice day. Perfect Blood Bowl weather, Bob.
Yes, Jim, ideal weather for a game of Blood Bowl. Though I'm not sure it will end nicely for all the players.
Okay, so far the screen doesn't really fit. Nope. Wait, I'm using left click to select a player, right click to move them. I'll put them all in the field and then figure out where in the world they're going to be going. I mean, again, since I already played Blood Bowl 2, I know what I'm doing, so yeah. But I mean, as long as the mouse is concerned, it's not too bad. We're gonna play one round to figure out. Oh my word, what's going on? I just realized I'm looking at the screen. It's all crazy. Alright, who's who? Yes, their throw. You're going to be back over here. Always like having my throw in the back of in the middle of the field. You are a blitzer. You stay there. You are a catcher. You might as well stay right there. You are a blitzer. You go over here at this time. Blitzer. Well, where's my rest of my team?
There was a time when the colleges of magic hadn't yet ruled on limiting wizard assistants to teams.
Who could forget the infamous 2472 Quagmire incident, when rampant spellcasting caused the entire Bright Crusaders Stadium to sink into the earth?
Nobody could forget that.
Or is it
People
there?
were blinded for miles around the stadium.
Oh, that is Bob and Jim from Blood Bowl 2. It's just they had different they had different voice actors now in their less quality, but they still give you plenty of details about the team and stuff. It's pretty nice. Actually, they talk more and give you more detail about the general ideas.
The coach
And nope,
must
we're
have
going.
dug deep to find the money to hire this star player.
They better win, or the fans will be digging deep to bury him.
Okay, so here's the first difference. Now in Blood Bowl 2, they give you the range of where where the ball can fall on this side down. So if you don't know the rules of the game, when you throw the ball with right click,
3, 2,
look
1.
at the ball, and see where it lands. You might be wondering, why did it land there when I clearly clicked over there? It's because in Blood Bowl, you roll a dice and the ball bounces in certain directions based on your dice roll, okay? And I don't like how quick these go by. You can't really read them because there's so much information. Alright, through a rock, they threw it at Zug. Okay, basically that means they throw a rock at my guy, damaging him. Ooh, he's knocked out. That's Zug.
Yesterday,
no,
I
Zug is
interviewed Ripper Boldrop,
not an
the
ogre
Troll
in
Super
Blood Bowl 2.
Champion.
Interesting.
And I can tell you that he's as
No,
violent
he's fine. He's just
off the
knocked out.
pitch as on it.
He's Apothecary.
He
Apothecary.
skinned
Oh, that
alive
one.
my
Whoa, that
colleague
one.
from
What?
Elf Magazine.
That one
What do
way
you
out.
expect when you put an elf next to a troll? It's nothing personal, just an instinctive reaction.
Wait, can I? Hold it. Now when we go, I'm going to. Oh, they're making a what do they call it? A cage? Yeah, call it a cage. Basically, that means playing all your players around the character, or around the ball carrier to prevent them from getting knocked out. It has a pretty strong cage. We'll be able to really get past it.
Ouch! Oh,
Now,
he's
you
knocked
hear the
himself.
dice roll.
You're assuming then that he had something between his ears to begin with.
Doesn't matter. You hear the dice rolling, but you don't see the dice roll. Because in Blood Bowl, it's not a normal dice. It is 6-sided dice, yeah. But each side of the dice has turnover. He's been knocked down. Basically, that means turnover. Basically means it's like a fumble. Basically, if they get knocked down for any reason, like if they trip because of a failed roll to move outside of their movement range, or if they get tripped by moving away from the enemy, moving away or moving through a couple enemies, or moving past not enemies, a couple players, then you get turnover. You lose your turn, which it doesn't tell you anything.
Griff Oble
In Blood Bowl 2,
said, and I quote,
they give you
"Thank
dice on the string
goodness
because
that the
again, it's
humans
not
are
a
around to
6-sided
raise
dice
the
where you're
level
trying
of
to
the
get
game." What do you think?
Well, that was true a few years back, but today him and his buddies are no longer at the top of the rankings.
What do I want to do? Actually, let's get this guy. Yeah, Black Orc. We need everyone on top. Where is Lyman? There is Griff. We'll give him Griff. Oh, okay. So everything's green like this. That means you can go to, and above that is the extra movement range. Just talking about where you have to roll dice. All right, get this guy. Doesn't tell me. Okay, tells you on the ground who be assisting. I think. So yeah, and then 2 dice on the thing, but might not be. You gotta think. Gives you 2 dice, and they gotta pick one. All right, so both are push. That means they go. That means you push them like this, and you move there. Okay, it's not as bad as and follow. Oh, it's not nearly as pretty. Follow. You can either follow or tell them to sit back. Basically, do you want to make him move the space where the opponent was? Yes, I want to move up. Oh, and Blood Bowl in Blood Bowl 1 actually show you what what your normal players do. Actually, that's pretty cool. When they assist, they actually show you an assist. And Blood Bowl 2, they don't show you an assist. All right, I want the elixir to blitz, which double click, right click. Is that blitz? No. Question mark. Blitz. You have the blitz by clicking over there. Okay, that makes sense. Go and blitz this guy.
Today's insight comes from Jaime Schnivel, coach and owner
No
of the
reroll.
Goblin Lowdown Rats team. In yesterday's Spike magazine, he said that Blood Bowl
yes,
was
follow.
like war. No winners, just survivors.
Oh, that's deep. About as deep as his team's position in the rankings.
But there, yeah, the glowing circles tell you when I'm moving. And I apologize when I talk over Bob and Jim. I'm kind of busy trying to explain the game here. Although they do, again, we're going to be knocked down. Take her down. Okay, so they painted the skull red in this instead of having the accurate level dice of it being white, which you guys think.
That face job is a lot cheaper than a plastic surgeon.
I don't know if he planned it, but it won't do him any harm in the looks department.
Okay.
Wow! I can tell you straight, that
Yeah, it doesn't
hurts.
show the opponent's dice, unfortunately. I mean, is it really necessary to see the opponent's dice? Not really, I guess, but still. So, okay, the game is not nearly as bad as everyone seems to make it out to be. Even the people that love the game and want people to play the game a lot, they make it up to be pretty bad in terms of being able to play, which Blood Bowl 2 made it ridiculously nice to
clean
oh, there you go.
Done.
Here's my luck. Which Blood Bowl 2 made it ridiculously easy to tell what's going on. In a way that a board game adaptation of a video game adaptation of board game a video game adaptation of a game should be. Okay, left click, right click. Oh, by the way, everything is right click because it's an older game. When I say older, I say like 2009, which is odd because Blood Bowl.
Against the dancers?
Dancers? You mean war dancers?
But yeah, Blood Bowl 2009. It's a 2009 game. It feels so old. It looks older. Although with full screen on, it looks better. Like, I mean, it looks better than when having full screen off, having cinematic on. But it still looks pretty old. It still looks like a 2006 game instead of a 2009 game. All right, let's see if we can get this guy again. By the way, red means I can't move that turn because I know from level 2. All right, let's get this guy. Doesn't tell you how many dice you get either, which is not helpful. Defender stumbles, and in Blood Bowl 2 they give you an entire list of what each individual dice does, which is nice. Defender stumble, defender down, let's down him, and put him right there. Remember to right there. I mean, these minions are, they tell you, again, they're not nearly as refined as in Blood Bowl 2, but they get the job done.
Ouch! Have a nice sleep.
Little baby gets his medicine and he's having a little nap.
Gosh, you guys need to start moving. You need to start getting over there. Okay. Oh, I say. He doesn't tell you. Okay. I think what that means is he has to dodge out of the way that time. Which again, it could be better explained. If I were to click like this. Gosh, I don't go there. If I were to click.
Just look at the fans. They're red hot. A majority of supporters reckon that the league should take measures to prevent the small minority of peaceful fans from watching a match from the terraces.
They've got a point. If they don't want to join in the fun, they might as well stay home and watch it on cable vision.
Take her down. Nope. Defender stumbles. That's good enough for this guy, I think. Game Griff. And game moving. Get him out of there. Yes, follow through actually. He stumbles, but okay. In order to get out of that, he has to. The opponent needs block, or actually, the opponent needs to be able to dodge. Since orcs can't dodge because they're terrible at moving. Actually, they are terrible at moving. They don't have a refined nervous system, so they're actually bad at moving. So yeah. All right, you need to get moving over there. Okay, turn base is actually not too bad. I thought it was gonna be a whole lot worse than this. All right, you stay there and just stay there. Just stay there to be a block. All right, let's end our turn. Stack up. Which, by the way, Blood Bowl Chaos Edition normally is priced. Normally it's priced $29.99 US. This is yes, $29.99
You
US.
can't say much about that.
Oh, full-blooded but perfectly legal.
Knocked out. That's fine.
Haha! Stunned.
What an idiot.
I just want him in there to stop their advance a little bit. He got knocked off. He got taken off the field, but he'll be back. With my luck. And Blood Bowl Legendary Edition is
really
priced
endemic in this sport.
$19.99
Isn't
US.
it written into the game rules?
Now, both... Now,
I don't know if he really liked that uppercut.
He may not have liked it, but he certainly ate it.
now, Blood Bowl Legendary Edition usually goes on sale for $4. Nope. Oh, there we go. In turn. The Blood Bowl Legendary Edition usually goes on sale for around $4.99 US, and Chaos Edition usually goes on sale for around $7.99 US. So that's been the way for a long time. I'll link a description to a site that tells you, they gives you a graph of the price changes of Steam games, which I like to use. Yeah, you can see the price for yourself, but yeah, it goes down pretty much. It goes down a lot, which is what I get it for. Is it worth getting full price? I think Blood Bowl 2 is, and Blood Bowl Chaos Station, Legendary Edition maybe, but Chaos Station maybe not be. It is dated. Let's just say that. If you get moving over there, ooh, he's in the way. Oh, wait, they definitely bring us down, but that's fine. If you go there, you have to dodge twice, which just doesn't tell you the percent of dodging, which is not good. It just tells you that you might have trouble with it, and if you didn't know what those were, you didn't know what those were. Okay.
Now, Orks have always gone for a power game, and you have to realize that it was only recently that they discovered the purpose of the ball during a match.
Yeah, in Blood Bowl, you either try to get the ball to the end zone to get a touchdown, because there is no field goals, or they are field goals in Blood Bowl, you just can't use them. Or you're trying to beat the entire team into submission, so you can just waltz your way to the end goal, or to the end zone. I'm sorry. I want you to get up, right, left, yeah, right, left, or left, right. I mean. Let's see this guy. Get this guy. No. Okay, try dodging out of there to get this guy. Yeah, do it. Nice. My luck holds up. And you attack you. Defender stumbles. He's an orc. Will he be able to dodge? I don't think so. Okay, right there. Yes, follow. Now, if you were to get off the field, the fans would be much. Actually, you should go plug the gap. Okay, now since we got some time, should Griff try to get out of there? I'm going to try it. No, let's go knock this guy down, and there you go. Stumble over there. Actually, don't fall him this time.
Hold still and then pow! Right in the face.
Okay, you go there and help out Griff. Can you go? No, you yeah, this is what makes Blitzers different. Is if I were to declare the rest, I would
required of an orc is to be able to hit hard, and if possible, not to think. The latter is considered a nasty flaw.
Okay, here's the turns up here, and here are the scores and rerolls, and then here are all the extra stuff you have. Okay, that means he rolled intelligence, which he didn't pass. Which big characters can only move if the dice declare them smart enough to move, or in this case, Snuffle. He is the lord of the dice in Blood Bowl, and he's pronunciation of NFL, the American Football League, or North American Football League. The National Football League, I mean.
Poetry in motion.
What we'd like to see
More often.
We should get these quotes in Blood Bowl 2 because they're really nice. I miss them. In Blood Bowl 2 they use. In Blood Bowl 2 they just use a lot of the same quotes over and over and over again, like the same 3-4 quotes. So yeah.